Okay, we're going to do the scanner first. And okay, I've already created. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for a file on my local system, but I'm going to use a URL to do that. Now, the thing about what I've found about URLs is that they don't like relative paths. They like full paths, but I like relative paths. So here's how. Here's a file that I believe I've downloaded from Project Gutenberg. Alice in Wonderland is, notice what this is looking for is, because I don't have a forward slash at the beginning, it's looking for a path relative to where I'm running the virtual machine, which in this case is the root of my project. So actually, this is the root, this is where it's running, and then I see that I don't have that. So I better create that. Well, that's all right. I'll find out about it. So here's a pattern using this file object which I believe input. All right. So what's nice about this is that I can say that if I can test my input file to see whether it exists or not, and in this case it's actually not, then I'll say now what's nice about these file objects is that I can get the absolute path. That's actually what I'm after. And this, okay, so what's going to happen is if I can't find this file, it's going to say, here's where I was looking for it, and we can't go on it, and it's not going to find it, I believe. I didn't think it was going to find it. Somehow it found it. Oh, I'm sorry. If it doesn't exist, okay. Now it won't find it. Okay, so file not found. It was looking for that right there, and I had it somewhere. Where did I have it? Was it in my downloads? Ah, here it is. Thought it was, oops, no, it's not there. Okay, so I need to grab a text file. I'll tell you what, I will grab another text file. And where's one? Okay, so here's a text file, and I will copy that into where I am. Oh, where am I? Okay, so that's this is actually a CSV file, and let's grab the name. Rename it? Okay, so my CSV file is this. Okay, so it actually found that one, and now I can create my URL. Now there are a number of different, the constructor is heavily overloaded, but a way to do it is by first putting in the protocol. Here the protocol is going to be the file, and then I'm going to concatenate it with the get the absolute path. Okay. And NetBeans suggests, we say, okay, unreported exception, and then when we click on it, we say we'll surround the statement with a try catch. We haven't talked about exceptions. We will at some point, but here we'll just kind of accept what you go. Come on. All right. Okay, so now what I can do, now I just can't, oops, I need to fix the imports before I, okay, so actually with the URL, I can open a connection. I can programmatically do a lot of things that your browser does and other things. But one of the things I can do is get one of these input streams through OpenStream, and it's going to throw an exception, so I need to add that. So what could go wrong with the URL is a malformed URL exception. That's pretty well named. What can go wrong here is an I/O exception, meaning that there's going to be a glitch in that. All right, so let's just see what's in here, right? And so one of the nice things about the scanner is, I'll just read in the whole lines. Has next line. Okay, so as long as there's another line to read, scanner will read that, and I'll just grab the line from the scanner, and next line will give me the whole thing. And I'll just print the line. And then I need to make sure that and just in general, when I use a system resource and scanner kind of use that under the hood, I always want to kind of close it out so I'm not. All right, so what this is going to do, this is going to show me what's in this file. And again, this URL here, I'm kind of hard coding where that is, but that URL object could be coming from anywhere. And, oops, no, I don't want that. Let's just run it from here. All right, so here's what's in that, and you see that it's actually a comma-separated file that has actually the first row is a header row, and then after that it has a bunch of data. What does that mean? I have no idea. Well, I do, but what it is doesn't really matter as far as what we're concerned. It's just I can see what's in that with the scanner. Okay, and now I can do something with it. So, for example, I can well, here's one of the things I can do. I could, and with a comma-separated file, and say instead of printing the line, let's. One of the things I can do is I can split it into again using a regular expression, but in this case the regular expression, which we touched on yesterday and we'll talk more about in the future, is here I'm splitting it on a comma, and so the comma in a comma separated file is a typical typical separator. I can, if it's a tab separator, I can put a tab in as the thing I'm splitting on. If I want to split on tabs, and if I just say spaces, then I could use the space thing. If they're commas or colons or semicolons, again, I can use a regular expression to say any one of those. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm reading a line, I'm reading it in line by line, and then I'm doing something with that line. And what I'm doing is I'm splitting it into its individual pieces, and here I'm going to print the array. So now instead of just giving me the plain old lines, it's going to give me the lines. It may be hard to see, but notice that now there's a little bracket, and then there's a little space between them. Again, here the comma, this comma is from the arrays toString method, not the commas in the file. So you see that what I've done is I've split it up into its different pieces, and so now if there are pieces that I want on this, then I can kind of grab them. And in this particular case, the first column actually can be used as a key in a map. So if I wanted to create a map of these values, then I could key it using that first column, because it turns out those are actually unique. But since there's no time to do that today, I will have to continue.